Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take. This one is on somehow my book that I wrote with Christian Baranek has come to life. Wokeistan. Wokeistan is real. Has erupted in Seattle in a place called Capitol Hill, which is now called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, otherwise known as the CHAZ for short. So what's happened there? Well, a bunch of protesters took it over after the police abandoned the police station there because the riots got so out of hand in Seattle. And this is nothing new. Seattle, Portland, these are the bases for Antifa. And for those of you who don't get it, Antifa basically is a loose confederation of hardcore communists and anarchists, mostly commies, and they have a belief of smashing the state because they believe they can bring about the destabilization of the United States and bring about a communist utopia. Through that end, they have little sayings like "No Trump, no wall, no USA at all." They have another saying: "Liberals get the bullet too." They don't have any friends, and they will say and do anything to achieve their ends. They have recruited mostly college students, and most of them are college students, including the leaders. And they have little subset groups like Redneck Revolt, the John Brown Gun Club, and other more militant groups that actually have guns. So, as I said in the previous video, these guys are basically the left version of the right-wing militias. But instead of being super racist, these guys are super woke, or at least they claim to be. So this is one of the reasons they've sort of hijacked Black Lives Matter for their own personal kind of cover story, right? Anybody who attacks the CHAZ is obviously a racist, right? The current leader of the CHAZ that the media is pointing to as the leader is a warlord by the name of Simone, I think his name is. And he's tweeting stuff like, you call me a warlord because, it's the first time you see a strong black man with a gun, which just is nonsense because there are, there's been plenty of strong black figures with guns, including the Black Panthers, you might remember. And there are, of course, right-wing black gun groups who support the Second Amendment. But it's ironic that these supposed leftists who called for gun control, and actually they have a sign inside the CHAZ that says, "Only a coward hides behind a gun." And yet, the first thing these people did was set up barricades, put up guards with guns, and they searched people coming in and out of the CHAZ. They basically just invented their own government. But most of this is just LARPing. It's not super serious. The government there is extremely sympathetic to Antifa and the protesters. That's how they got elected. They are super left wing out there. So it's cool and trendy for you to support Antifa and to support these left wing causes and to support Bernie and be a socialist and be a communist and say things like, "Oh yeah, we got to end capitalism. You want another cappuccino? It's only $5." So there's this weird sort of disconnect. But when the rubber meets the road and these people actually have to start running things, that all kinds of goes haywire, right? Because now you've got Raz and his guys supposedly wandering the CHAZ asking the business owners for money, since now they're protecting them. Sounds a little bit like the mafia, doesn't it? Oh, it's a nice cappuccino bar you got here. Be a shame if some right-wing lunatics came in here and bust the place up. But don't worry, I got plenty of communists, my comrades here, and I will protect the place for you. It ain't gonna cost you much. Just, contribute so we can keep you safe. You're not a fascist, are you? I mean, if you don't support Black Lives Matter, I got to question whether or not you're a racist. I mean, I wouldn't have to tell all the angry people outside that threw bricks in everybody's window that you don't support us. I mean, you support us, right? That's the way I think it probably went down, although without the New York Italian, bad Italian accent I'm doing. Um, so there's been some great videos about it. Razorfist has a great video. Sticks and Hammer has 2 videos, including one video just on their idiotic garden, which I also laughed at. They tried to build a garden in a city park. They put down cardboard, poured topsoil on it, and then planted the plants in the topsoil, which not only is there not enough plants to feed like more than 2 people, it's probably not even going to work. It's already you're already seeing pictures on Twitter showing that the whole garden's falling apart, and it's just it's just not viable. It's Seattle. I mean, the growing season is you already had to have your crops in, and you needed a lot more crops than you have, and you guys just don't know what you're doing. And I'm amateur farmer. I'm an amateur assistant farmer for my dad. You people, you're not even close to what I know, and I know you can't feed anybody with what you guys grow. Plus, the homeless guys apparently stole all their food when they opened it up to the homeless, and now they're begging people for vegan options and soy-based products in order to replenish their supplies. But it's not closed that much. There are people who are sympathetic to the cause, and they're sending them pizzas and whatnot to keep the place going. But just like in Wokeistan, things quickly start to disintegrate because these people don't actually know what they're doing. They don't know how to run a city, not even 6 city blocks. It's hard. There are hundreds of people. And when you set up roadblocks and checks and whatnot, when you kick out the police, you have no police. And since there's probably going to be some crime, well, the crime's going to get out of hand unless you do something. So ironically, they just invented their own police. So really, these people don't have any new ideas. They cry and cry and cry, tear down the state, tear down the state. Okay, you tore down the state in a 6-block radius. Now what? Build the state, build the state, build the state. I mean, you guys don't know what you're doing. You had no real answers because you're a bunch of college students who all you learned was to destroy. You didn't learn how to build anything. You didn't, if you had learned basic civics, I'm sure you could have run rings around the city council people and the mayor, and probably could have gotten them out of office if you had actually worked hard within the system with all the people at your command. But it's cooler, to put on black garb and throw bricks through windows and be cool and pretend to be communist and talk to rap guys and talk to Hollywood celebrities who support you. But in the end, somebody's going to roll in there and crack heads eventually. Or eventually something's going to get so out of hand, people get killed, and you're going to take the blame. Because as Razorfist says in his video, you could see the setup on this from space. Trump's not taking the bait. Trump's not coming in. He's threatening to, because he wants to put pressure on the mayor and the governor and say, look at these woke idiots. They're not doing anything. Here are the Democrats. Here's what they don't do. They don't fight crime when it's ideologically on their side, essentially. When the people who are ideologically their allies, they won't do anything when they run amok. When you are not their ideological allies, it's time for jail and the police and we'll put the fist down on you and man, you're going to hurt. But, when you're woke and on their side, could you please not hurt too many people and steal too many things? They don't have a response. This is the problem with taking sides ideologically. You either run a court system and a police system and a judicial system that's fair, that enforces the law without any ideological stuff going on, or you are an ideologue who only supports certain people. So certain people get justice and other people can go screw. That's what we're getting in Democratic-controlled states now. Trump is allowing these Democrats he's giving them enough rope to hang themselves, as the saying goes. And they are hanging themselves, because who would vote for these people? You got to see Razorfist's video today. Razor Fist video perfectly surmises it, and he puts in an amazing clip from a Seattle city council meeting that shows you that took place before the riots, that shows you that these people are finally fed up with the Democrats. And these people are super, super liberal. So if you think they're going to go even further left, they've gone about as left as they can go. And they're fed up. They want their businesses. They want some amount of safety and security. Yeah, it was fine to help the poor or whatever, but now you've taken it way too far. So you're going down in flames there, CHAZ and the Democratic Party, and probably BLM with it. And you're probably not going to get the police reform that everybody wants, thanks to this hijacking. People will associate it with this sort of nonsense, and they don't want that. It's like when I went to the war protest, and sometimes the socialists would run it, and it would be like, yeah, we're against the war. Okay, yeah, I'm against the war. Oh, and yeah, we want free housing. Wait a minute, what? Oh, and free college, too, and free healthcare. I didn't want any of that. I just was here to protest the war. Yeah, brother, we're going to protest the war, and we're going to protest inequality, and we're going to protest... You're biting off way more than you could chew here. And that's what these protesters have done. So they're done. They're done, but, I think Trump's just going to sit around and let these people... let the whole place just burn to the ground because, if he goes in there, they'll call him the worst dictator in the world. If he stays out, whose fault is it? It's not his fault. He doesn't run those cities. He's offered them the aid. They refuse to take it. Speaking of aid, Mayor Fry of Minneapolis is now begging the Trump administration for $50 million to rebuild. Maybe if you had sent in the police earlier and not encouraged these woke morons to get out of control, you could have, prevented some of this with better security. I mean, people have protests all the time and they don't burn the place to the ground. You're probably going to have a lot of strings attached to that $50 million. I'm betting Trump is going to make you do a lot of stuff for it.